హాయ్ స్టూడెంట్స్, వెల్కమ్ టు కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ. మీరు యూనియన్ పబ్లిక్ సర్వీస్ కమిషన్కి ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నట్లయితే మన టార్గెట్ ఐఏఎస్ 2025 బ్యాచ్ అనేది ఏప్రిల్ మొదటి వారం స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందండి. దీంతో జనరల్ స్టడీస్తో పాటు ఆప్షనల్ పేపర్ కూడా అందించడం జరుగుతుంది. ఎవరైతే అభ్యర్థులు ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నారో మన కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ ఫోన్ నెంబర్ కాల్ చేసి మీకు రిజిస్ట్రేషన్ ఫినిష్ చేసుకోండి. 900000224778.
Hello everyone, welcome to Kakatiya IAS Academy. So today we are going to discuss current affairs analysis. So the first topic, Bill for Maratha Reservation. Government policies and interventions. Coming to the context, the Maharashtra State Reservation for Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Bill. Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Bill 2024, just enacted by the Maharashtra Assembly, reserves 10% of jobs and education for the Maratha population under socially and educationally backward categories. So it reserves for 10%. So which Maratha reservation bill points stand out? Based on a recommendation of the Maharashtra State Backward Class Commission, the Maharashtra State Reservation for Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Bills 2024 was created. So this report supported the need for reservations by characterizing the Marathas as being socially and educationally backward. Article 342A Class 3 of the Indian Constitution designates the Maratha community as a socially and educationally backward class as per the bill. In accordance with Articles 15 Class 4, 15 Class 5 and 16 Class 4 of the Constitution, it reserves space for this class. So every state or union territory is permitted to create and maintain a list of socially and educationally backward classes SCBCs. According to Article 342A Clause 3, the central list may not match these lists. So the state may provide specific arrangements for the progress of any SCBCs of people as well as scheduled castes and scheduled tribes under the Article 15 Class 4. So, the Maratha reservation history. A commission headed by Narayan Rane suggested a 16% reservation for Marathas in 2014. So, in 2014, Narayan Rane suggested 16% of reservation for Marathas. So, however, the Bombay High Court later overturned and suspended the recommendation. The Gaikwad Commission. Based on the recommendations of Gaikwad Commission, the Maharashtra government passed the Socially and Educationally Backward Classes Act in 2018, which provided 16% reservation. This was lowered to 12% for education and 13% for employment by the Bombay High Court. So 12% for education and 13% for employment. Then in May 2021, the Supreme Court completely overturned the quota, stating that there was insufficient scientific evidence to support going over the 50% quota ceiling. The Supreme Court made it clear in 1992 Indra Sahni ruling that the 50% rule would apply unless there were very specific extraordinary circumstances that would allow the people of distant and isolated places to become more mainstream. So coming to the State Backward Class Commission of Maharashtra, to reevaluate the Marathas reservation problem, the Maharashtra State Backward Class Commission was constituted in December 2023 and is chaired by Justice Sunil B. Shukre. According to the Shukre Committee, 28% of the state's population is Maratha and 84% of them are not progressed. It further states that a group this size cannot be included in the OBC category because it is so backward. So in order to boost Maratha participation in government positions and developed industries, it suggests introducing distinct reservations. So what are the reasons for and against the bill pertaining to Maratha reservations? So arguments in support. The Shukri Commission empirical research highlights the socio-economic obstacles that the Maratha community faces, supporting the necessity of a quota in order to elevate them out of poverty and marginalization. So next one, The alarmingly high rate of farmer suicides among Marathas underscores the depth of their financial hardship and the pressing need for focused initiatives aimed at improving the community. Because of their backwardness, Marathas have long been shut of mainstream chances. Their representation and engagement in a variety of sectors can be improved by reservations in government employment and education, which promotes inclusive department. So coming to the rebuttals to the Maratha reservation, there are concerns about the new bill's ability to withstand judicial scrutiny given the history of prior Maratha reservation attempts the faced legal challenges and ultimately failed in higher courts, particularly in light of the Supreme Court's previous decision to invalidate Maratha reservation for lacking sufficient empirical data to support quota extension beyond the 50% ceiling. The new reservations, feasibility and possible effects on already existing OBC reservations have been questioned by opposition parties. So several Maratha officials and activists voiced their displeasure with a separate reservation, saying they would rather be included in the OBC group. Reservation might take out of short-term issues, but it might not deal with Marathas' underlying backwardness in a meaningful way. Sustainable development requires a multifaceted strategy that addresses problems with infrastructure, skill development, and education. So the way ahead provides solid empirical evidence to support the reservation above and beyond the Supreme Court imposed 50% of quota ceiling in order to ensure the Maratha reservation bill is both legally sound and resilient against judicial examination. So coming to the next topic, reforms in legal education. So it is also the government policies and interventions. Coming to the context, in a recent report of legal education in India, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on a Personal and Public Grievances, Law, Justice made some important recommendations. So what are the committee's principal recommendations? Now let's see. Restructuring legal education regulation. The first one. The Bar Council of India's regulatory authority was to be curtailed by establishing the National Council for Legal Education and Research to supervise non-litigation areas of legal education. So coming to the next one, admitting that more state money is needed to assist law schools. And next, going to mandatory inclusion of multidisciplinary subjects. It proposes that the undergraduate courses must include subjects like banking laws, energy law, sports law, tech law, cyber law, energy laws, securities law, securities arbitration and telecom banking laws. Governments, academic institutions and BCI must work together to produce comprehensive curriculum. Stressing practical training programs. In order to incorporate moot court competitions and other practical training programs into the curriculum, universities should work with BCI. Through the application of legal theory in realistic courtroom situations, these programs help students develop their critical thinking and oral advocacy abilities. Coming to the next one, quality assurance in legal education. When recognizing new law institutions, the committee emphasizes the significance of giving quality precedence over number. It is imperative that immediate action to be taken to stop the growth of inferior law schools in India. So the Vedic age, when the legal framework was derived from the concept of dharma, is focal point of legal education in India. The Indian legal system exists now was modeled after Chola legal system. In Chola dynasty, current rule of law or the tenet that all are equal before the law was upheld. So what is the Indian Bar Council? So what is about? Established by the Advocates Act 1961. So it is established in 1961. The Bar Council of India is a statutory body tasked with regulating and representing the Indian bar. So regulatory rules, establishing guidelines for advocates, appropriate behavior and manners in the workplace, putting in place disciplinary action procedures, establishing criteria for Indian legal education and identifying legal degrees that meet the requirements. So coming to the further obligations, defending the interests, rights and privileges of advocates. Coming to the next one, arranging for the poor to receive legal aid. holding elections to choose members of the Bar Council to handle and resolve any issue that a state bar council may refer to it. Coming to the current events, foreign solicitors and law firms were permitted to practice in India by BCI in 2023, although their scope was restricted to non-litigious subjects such as corporate law and intellectual property. So similar limitations apply to Indian solicitors working for international firms. So what is the Advocates Act of 1961? Let's see about this. The Advocates Act of 1961 was passed in order to create the Bar Council, an all India bar, and to update and harmonize legislation pertaining to solicitors. The majority of the Legal Practitioners Act of 1879 provisions were suppressed by this legislation. So those who solicit cash in exchange for bringing in clients for solicitors are known as touts. So who are known as touts? Those who solicit cash in change for bringing clients for solicitors are known as touts. So the modified provisions now give the authority to create and disseminate lists of touts to the district magistrates, high courts, session judges, district judges, and certain revenue authorities. Anybody whose name appears on the list of touts may be barred by the court or judge from the courtroom. So coming to the next topic, Regional Security Council Secretaries Conversation on Afghanistan. So coming to the context, in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, recently took place the 6th Regional Dialogue of Secretaries of Security Councils, National Security Advisors NSA on Afghanistan. So, India restated the United Nations Security Council resolution, Collective Strategy for Fighting Terrorism. So, the strategy is for fighting terrorism. So, what is the Afghanistan Regional Security Dialogue? Let's see what is it. National security advisors or top security officials from Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, China, Russia, India, and other Central Asian states participates in a series of high-level discussions known as the Regional Security Dialogue of Afghanistan. So, what is known as Regional Security Dialogue of Afghanistan? This point is important. Coming to the next point, these discussions serves as forums for debating and organizing regional strategies to deal with security issues and advance stability in Afghanistan and surrounding area. So the resolution approved by the 15-member United States Nations Security Council demands that no country should utilize Afghan land as a base of operations or to threaten or attack another. So the Security Council and the international community have sent a clear message about their expectations for Afghanistan with the resolution's passage. It emphasizes how vital it is to fight terrorism inside Afghanistan. So what does India do to support the Afghan people? So let's see what does India done for Afghan people. Since August 2021, the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, ICCR, has admitted over 3,000 students, 600 of which are Afghan girls, in an effort to further the cause of education. A humanitarian air corridor has been constructed between Delhi and Kabul in an effort to supply vital supplies. The corridor demonstrates India's proactive responsiveness to humanitarian needs by the facilitating essential transit and assistance delivery. So India has sent out many humanitarian and aid cargoes, including 250 tons of medical supplies, 28 tons of earthquake relief supplies, 50,000 of empties of wheat. So India and United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, in Afghanistan have teamed up to support the welfare of drug users in Afghanistan, particularly for the women. So since 2022, India has provided UNODC Kabul with 11,000 hygiene kits, baby food, blankets, clothes, medical aid and other miscellaneous supplies as part of this collaboration. India and Afghanistan continue to trade and conduct business, notably through the port of Chabahar. So which port? Through the port Chabahar. So let's see what are the main problems affecting relations between Afghanistan and India. Impact of regional stability. The drug trade, which has its origins in Afghanistan, the Golden Crescent, has posed difficulties for Afghanistan as well as surrounding nations like India. It has also played a significant role in region's instability and violence. So, Indian interests and influence. After the Taliban took control of Kabul in 1996, India's strategic interests and influence in the area suffered a blow. So, coming to the attack on Indian nationals, India is considered over the bombing of a Sikh Gurudwara in Kabul, which was allegedly carried by ISISK. Change in security dynamics. India's security up until August 2021 was dependent on the US military presence in Afghanistan and cordial administration in Kabul. The US pullout from Afghanistan forced India to carefully reevaluate the security situations. So let's see what is the state of India-Afghan relations. The past was India's approach to Afghanistan is based on centuries old historical and cultural connections. Since the 1950 Treaty of Friendship, India and Afghanistan have had generally positive relations. India has genuine economic and security interests in Afghanistan as a neighbor. So coming to the financial relations, India has funded over USD 3 billion in vital areas including power, water supply, road connectivity, healthcare, education, agriculture and capacity building through almost 500 projects spread over across all 34 provinces. In 2009, the Board Roads Organization of the Indian Army built a significant road that connected Janranj and Delaram in the isolated Afghan province of Nimroj. So the Afghan India Friendship Dam AIFD, also known as Salma Dam. So AIFD Dam is also known as Salma Dam. So it is hydroelectric and irrigation projects situated on the Hari River in the western Afghan province of Herat. So India promised to provide the projects necessary funding in 2006. Coming to the political partnerships, the strategic partnership agreement between the two nations signed in October 2011 has improved ties between India and Afghanistan. The two-party strategic partnerships agreement SPA calls for technical assistance, education, financial support to aid in the reconstruction of Afghanistan institutions and infrastructure. So India had continuously pushed for the stable, peaceful and wealthy Afghanistan, has been a steadfast backer of Afghan democracy. Humanitarian support. India has promised to supplying 75,000 MT of wheat to Afghanistan in 2020 in order to tackle the COVID-19 worldwide epidemic and related food security challenges. So in 2020, India has committed to providing the Afghan government with pairs of surgical gloves, paracetamol, pills and containing hydrochloroquine. About 1.5 million school children received food assistance in the form of 11 lakh tons of wheat that was given as grains and cookies to the children. So in Kabul, a medical diagnostic center was established in 2015. The center fosters goodwill for India by offering youngsters from Afghanistan access to the most up-to-date diagnostic tools. So coming to the very important topic, electronic voting mission. It is very important for UPSC and for APPSC also. So coming to the context, concerns regarding the reliability and integrity of electronic voting machine (EVM) used in Indian elections have grown in the last several years. As we all know, EVMs are used in Indian elections from long ago. An electronic voting machine. So let's see what is it. Electronic voting machine. An electronic voting machine records votes. So it records votes. They were initially put to use in 1982 in Kerala's Paravur Assembly constituency. The Election Commission has been submitting EVMs for vote boxes on a regular basis since 1998. So EVMs were used in all states by election contests in 2023. So this gave the Commission the impetus to make history in 2004 by deciding to exclusively deploy EVMs from the Lok Sabha elections. So how did the development was done? Bharat Elections Limited, Bangalore under the Ministry of Defence, and Electronic Corporation of India Limited, Hyderabad under the Department of Atomic Energy are two public sector undertakings that worked with the technical experts TEC and the Election Commission to devise and design the committee. So functionality. It consists of a controlling unit, balloting unit, which are wired together. So it has a control unit and a balloting unit. So while the balloting unit is inside the voting booth, the control unit remains with the poll worker. To record their voice, voters need only click the blue button on the ballot unit to indicate their preference for a certain candidate and symbol. So what are all the important characteristics of EVMs? A maximum of 2000 votes may be recorded by an EVM that EC is using. Electricity is not needed for them. They are powered by a standard battery made by. So the EVMs are powered by a standard batteries. So Electronics Corporation of India Limited, Bharat Electronics Limited. Additionally, the EVMs are standalone devices that do not require an operating system. So what are all the advantages of EVMs? So its accuracy. Electronic voting machines ensures a more accurate representation of voter choice by preventing the invalid notes that are often associated with paper ballots. This also lowers the number of complaints and legal issues. So what efficiency? Electronic voting machines expedite and improve the voting process by streamlining it. They shorten the time needed to announce election results by doing away with the necessity of manual counting. So transparency. By offering a precise and verifiable record of votes cast, electronic voting machines improve electoral transparency. Voters can confirm their votes are accurately recorded by using features like VVPAT. So cost effectiveness. Because electronic voting machines do not require millions of printed ballots for every election cycle, they provide cost savings in terms of paper, printing, transportation, and storage. So what are all the issues of EVMs? Lack of transparency. Some critics contend that there is insufficient transparency regarding the internal operations of EVMs, raising questions about the impartiality and correctness of the voting procedure. Reliability. Concerns have been expressed concerning the potential for technical issues or faults to impact the outcome of an election as well as the dependability of EVMs. So the trust issues. Despite security precautions, some voters and political parties continue to have doubts about the validity and the dependability of electronic voting machines. So this has prompted proposals for more protections and alternative voting procedures. Coming to VVPAT. So let's see what is it. Voters can confirm their votes were cast as intended by using independent voter verifiable paper audit trail. It is VVAPT PAT system which is connected to the electronic voting machine. So it was proposed at the 2013 Nagaland by-election for the Noksan Assembly constituency. Every constituency in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections was used VVPATs. So functionally, upon casting a ballot, a slip with the candidate's name, symbol, serial number is produced and exposed for 7 seconds through a transparent window. So the printed slip is then automatically cut and drops into VVPAT's seal drop box. So only poll workers have access to the equipment. Related Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court underlined the need for VVPAT in elections using electronic voting machines in 2013 Submarine Swami Subramanian Swami v. ECI case. Currently, VVPAT, ECI, EVM, M3 models are in use. Thank you for watching our video. Please like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you.
మన కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ విశాఖపట్నం నుంచి బోత్ ఆఫ్లైన్ మరియు ఆన్లైన్లో ఏపీఎస్సి గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ మాడ్యూల్ అనేది మార్చి 4వ తారీఖు నుంచి ప్రారంభిస్తున్నామండి. అయితే అడ్మిషన్స్ ఆల్రెడీ మార్చ్ 1 నుంచి మొదలు పెట్టాము. సో ఎవరైతే అభ్యర్థులు ఏపీఎస్సి గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నారో వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా ఈ మాడ్యూల్ని పర్చేస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. సో మా కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ ఫోన్ నెంబర్ కాల్ చేస్తే ఈ మాడ్యూల్ డీటెయిల్స్ అనేది మీకు అందిస్తారు. అండ్ అతి తక్కువ ఫీ స్ట్రక్చర్లతో, అంటే ఏపీ మొత్తంలో మీరు తీసుకుంటే అతి తక్కువ ఫీ స్ట్రక్చర్ తోటి లైకమ్ రికార్డ్ మాడ్యూల్ని అంటే ఆఫ్లైన్ మాడ్యూల్ని ఒక సిస్టమాటిక్ ఆర్డర్లో అందిస్తున్నటువంటి సంస్థ మన కార్తికేయ. ప్రతి సంవత్సరం కూడా బెస్ట్ రిజల్ట్ని అందిస్తున్నామండి. ఎవ్రీ వీక్ స్కాలర్షిప్ టెస్టులు పెడుతున్నాము. అండ్ టెస్ట్ సిరీస్ కూడా అద్భుతంగా డిజైన్ చేసినటువంటి అంశం మాకు కనిపిస్తుంది. నా ఫీ స్ట్రక్చర్ చూస్తే మీకు ఏపీఎస్సి గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ జస్ట్ 2999 అండి. సో దీంట్లో గొప్ప విషయం ఉంది. మీరు ఏపీఎస్సి కోర్స్ పర్చేస్ చేసిన తర్వాత మీరు క్వాలిఫై అవుతారు డెఫినెట్గా. సో క్వాలిఫై అయిన తర్వాత కార్తికేయస్ అకాడమీ నుంచి ఒక స్కాలర్షిప్ కూడా మీరు అందుకోవచ్చు. అండ్ ఈ కోర్స్ ప్రధానంగా ఆఫ్లైన్ మరియు ఆన్లైన్లో ఉంటుంది. లైకమ్ రికార్డింగ్ ఉంటుందండి. అండ్ ఈ 2999 వచ్చేసి ఓన్లీ ఆన్లైన్ లైవ్ ప్లస్ ఆన్లైన్ విద్యార్థులకు మాత్రమే. ఆఫ్లైన్ ప్రైస్ మరి వేరే విధంగా ఉంటుంది. మీరు ఈ నెంబర్ కాల్ చేసి తీసుకోవచ్చు. టాప్ ఫ్యాకల్టీస్ ఉంటారండి కార్తికేయలో. హిస్టరీ కానవచ్చు, సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ, జాగ్రఫీ, పాలిటీ అన్ని సబ్జెక్ట్స్కి ఎక్స్పర్ట్ ఫ్యాకల్టీస్ ఉంటారు. అండ్ బోత్ మీడియం తెలుగు అండ్ ఇంగ్లీష్ మీడియం ఉంటుందండి. అండ్ ఫైనల్గా సో టెస్ట్ సిరీస్ కూడా అద్భుతంగా ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. సో ఎవరైతే గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ ప్రిపేర్ అవుతున్నారో వాళ్ళందరూ కూడా ఈ కోర్స్ని పర్చేస్ చేయొచ్చు. మన కార్తికేయ ఐఎస్ అకాడమీ మొబైల్ యాప్ కింద డిస్క్రిప్షన్ బాక్స్లో లింక్ ఇస్తామండి, మీరు డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అక్కడ గత సంవత్సర కాలం నుంచి కొన్ని సంవత్సరాల నుండి మంచి కంటెంట్ అనేది మీకు ఆర్డర్లో అరేంజ్ చేసి పెట్టడం జరిగింది. వాటిని మీరు ఫ్రీగా యాక్సెస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. అలాగే టెస్ట్ సిరీస్ కూడా అక్కడ అవైలబిలిటీగా ఉంటుంది. అండ్ డిఫరెంట్ కోర్సెస్ కూడా దాంట్లో ఉన్నాయి. మీరు హ్యాపీగా చూసుకొని మీకు సబ్జెక్ట్ వైజ్ కూడా చాలామంది గ్రూప్ 2 మెయిన్స్ ప్రిపేర్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు 4 సబ్జెక్ట్స్ కనిపిస్తాయి. ఒకటి ఏపీ హిస్టరీ, రెండవది ఇండియన్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్, తర్వాత మీకు సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ అండ్ ఏపీ అండ్ ఇండియన్ ఎకానమీ. ఇలా సబ్జెక్ట్ వైజ్ కూడా అక్కడ పర్చేస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. లేదు అంటే కంబైన్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్ కూడా సిలబస్ అంతా ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి మీరు పర్చేస్ చేసుకొని ప్రిపరేషన్ మొదలు పెట్టండి.